and Jesse Harper, the opponent. This is someone that we have seen before, right?
Oh, yeah, we saw Jesse a little bit earlier in round number 5 playing against Raid Alawar. Jesse did lose the match, but it was a competitive one.
Okay. Yeah, Jesse's deck list, of course, not so much spice, just a pile of good cards, as junk decks often are.
All right, so let's watch these two players do battle. Tyler Gardner and Jesse Harper. Junk Constellations versus Junk Midrange, a Voice of Resurgence.
Okay.
A card you love.
I do. I get a little giddy inside every time I see a Voice of Resurgence. I contained it just now, but there was almost like a very sharp giggle that you didn't quite hear from me. But
That's
it was
good.
Yeah, I suppressed it just in time.
Because if you giggled, I would make fun of you.
Yeah, well, and we wouldn't want that. Yeah, Jesse Harper's deck contains 4 Voice of Resurgence and 4 Advent of the Worm. So a man after my own heart.
Well, so here's one thing that we do share is Advent of the Worm is like my favorite card that's not being played heavily, and I hate that it's not being played heavily because it's completely busted.
I tried. So
You gave it a real effort.
I really
you did. That is easily one of my favorite cards. So seriously, Sylvan Caryatid. Gallantine is going to come into play tapped. So no good attacks here for Harper. Just going to accelerate his mana. Gardner has already done so with the acceleration, so we'll see what he has to play in the 3rd turn of the game. Hopefully for him, a 4 mana spell.
Yeah, both of these decks aren't really going to have any haymakers in the first 2 or 3 turns. It's really just looking to set up their defenses, set up their mana bases, ramp with Sylvan Caryatid, establish a little bit of an advantage with Courser of Krufix.
Or perhaps Krufix's Insight, the draw spell that we don't see a ton of.
And by a ton of, we don't.
Or at all.
Yeah.
At all. I was trying to be polite. Maybe in block constructed.
Sure, a little bit.
And perhaps when rotation happens. Who knows?
Yeah. It's exciting to me when a card actually sees registration for the first time.
A Blood Baron of Escopa shows up here for Harper.
Boo.
3 of those.
There are cards that I love, and there are cards that I don't love so much.
3 of those in his main deck, along with an Obsidian. Those are basically the payoff spells here. 1 Krufix Insight goes to the grip for Gardner. Another one stays on top of the deck. As we do move along here, but there is an immediate threat here for Tyler that he just needs to take care of.
How about that Courser of Krufix's Insight synergy? Is the top card a land? No. Well, just dig 6 deeper. Maybe it will be after that.
Well, I love it, obviously.
Yeah.
Brain Maggot does have some options here. However, whatever it does take, it will end up likely dying, as there are 2 removal spells there in Abrupt Decay and Hero's Downfall, along with an Obsidian Ghost Council.
And now that Obsidian currently cannot enter the battlefield. It looks like we have Forest, and then 3 mana sources that can make the requisite black or white mana. But Jesse needs to find a 4th before that Obsidian would actually be a problem for Tyler.
So Obsidian will be selected.
And as you mentioned, those last 2 cards in Jesse's hand, both fully capable of killing off a Brain Maggot. Although, to be fair, Tyler does present plenty of good targets for a removal spell in this deck.
Yeah, this is true.
A removal spell spent on Brain Maggot is not a removal spell that gets to kill Courser or Eidolon of Blossoms.
6 cards coming from Krufix's Insight. You see an Elspeth, a Mana Bloom.
1 single enchantment.
Yep.
Okay.
Not all that exciting. Also, to see the Elspeth go by is kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
There's a lot of land, important. Yeah. Yeah.
Cleared away some of the chaff, I suppose. And we need to see the top card of Tyler's deck. There we go.
It's a Sylvan Caryatid. I don't think he wanted to see that. You ruined his fun. He doesn't need one of those right now, Mr. Shrout.
Well, he needed a mana source, right?
Does he?
Maybe not. Well, he wanted something on top of his deck that he could put into play.
Okay, sure. That's fine. That's fine. Here are our attackers. Pretty quick block there. Courser in front of Voice of Resurgence. Blood Baron will come in here for 4. Gardner will go down to 18. Harper up to 21. See what does happen here in the second main phase.
Yeah, so that attack, obviously a 2/2 Voice of Resurgence is not going to achieve much when it rumbles into a 2/4. But Jesse, they're basically just saying, I would rather have an XX Elemental than a Voice of Resurgence.
Now 3/3 right now with the potential to be much more. Temple of Silence is going to come into play. Gardner's going to gain a life, take on the top card. Have to imagine that Caryatid is going to go to the bottom, and it does. So now the top card here is an Overgrown Tomb.
We did it. +1 card.
But not a lot of interest in that either. It might have to Krufix's Insight by that.
Oh yeah, he actually already played the land.
Yeah.
This Courser of Krufix is just doing no work whatsoever.
I mean, in theory, it's doing work in that it's getting those lands out of the way, but we need an action spell.
Yeah.
3, 4, 5, 6. All right, those are action spells.
Primeval Bounty. That's I believe, a one of.
Yes, it is.
And it's going to do some serious work. It's going to make up for all that work that Course of Kruvix didn't really do this game.
That Farika's going to be really good, too. I mean, of course, it doesn't get the block Blood Baron scope because it's black, but, I think this is going to be kind of a slow, grindy affair.
Sure.
And that's not a bad place for Farika to be in.
Yeah, definitely not. The Primeval Bounty makes green beasts, notably. So that's going to hold off that Blood Baron pretty effectively. Obviously, if Tyler ever gets to keep 2 of them in play, then he can actually threaten to kill off the Blood Baron on combat.
There's Abrupt Decay to take care of the Obsidat. Not much of a surprise there. That'll go back to the grip for Harper.
And that Overgrown Tomb up at the top. I believe that's what that is. That is actually going to allow him to cast the Obsidat if he chooses.
Hard to choose against. Who doesn't want to put that thing into play?
We got Pack Rat. We can make rats.
Yeah, we sure can. I mean, give me an Obsidat, give me the option. I mean, I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. I will be wrong again, but
that's more power in play. In like a turn,
Yeah, I guess like Pack Rat also makes the Voice of Resurgence token a little bit better too. All right, Pack Rat it is. Pack Rat it is.
I was mostly joking, but actually I think Pack Rat is the play here. Like we can activate it immediately, so there's no window for Tyler to get it out of play and shut it down, and we are then going to be able to get it out of control there.
When playing Pack Rat is a better play than playing Obsidat, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I mean,
it's like I have this sweet 5/5 legend that drains 2 and gains me 2 every turn.
Well, sure. Pack Rat's a 5-drop too. Pack Rat, it's like a 2-drop, 5-drop split card.
Okay, all right.
You've got the maybe it's like a morph card. You can play it. You can play it up front just as like a 2-drop, as a 1/1 for 2, or you can actually play it for its full printed cost, which is 2 + 3. And yeah, if you actually want to compare 5-drops, compare Pack Rat +1 activation to Blood Baron, I think it's pretty close.
Okay.
Even just, on the face of the cards.
I'm willing to buy into this theory for now. I may change my mind later in the round.
You're talking as if you've never seen a Pack Rat win a game, Cedric. I know you've seen Pack Rats win games.
Potentially.
Yeah.
It's probably going to win this game, too.
It's certainly a power play. Now, we saw, of course, Tyler use a removal spell on one Pack Rat. Jesse predictably replaced that Pack Rat with another. So Tyler does have a window if he has a second removal spell to get that Pack Rat off the board.
Well, once you're in, you're in.
But it looks like he does not have a way to do that. So
it might be time to play the Bounty, but he'd have to take a turn off to basically do that, which kind of stinks. But Bounty might be good enough to actually just win the game. Yeah, so there is the Bounty.
Yeah, Bounty's one of those cards that you basically have to give your opponent a time walk to get into play. But once it's there, I guess the better way of saying that is Bounty is one of those cards that supremely rewards you for untapping with it in play.
Yes.
And I think Tyler's safe to do that, although it's close.
It is close. I mean, there's just a Courser back there to block. 3 life was gained, plus the 1 from the Courser. So up to 15 goes Gardner.
So actually, if Jesse has land to double activate the Pack Rat, right, then he gets then he has 3 lethal attackers. Oh no, sorry, that there was some life gain there. I missed that part.
Yeah, up to 15.
Yeah, that changes that.
So I think Gardner's going to get to play another turn here. That's when the Bounty can slowly but surely start to take over. But there's got to be a way here to get this Pack Rat and potential more copies of Pack Rat off the table. That's the big problem, I think.
Alternately, we could just kill the blocker with Hero's Downfall.
And then kill our opponent? 4,
can we do that?
8, 9. No, it won't die. All right, so here's an attack. And this is an attack for 4. Potentially 5 with a Pack Rat potentially 9 with a Pack Rat activation. So you're making out of this turn alive. You're Tyler Gardner. And let Primeval Bounty get to work. Bounty's one of my favorite cards. It's not a card that you can play like 4 of or anything like that, but it is a really powerful 1 of for these green mid-range decks to play.
I don't know. The card does stack. Maybe you can play 4 of them. Why has no one thought of that?
6 mana is a lot.
It is.
Mostly.
Sure.
And Thoughtseize costs 1. Maybe that might have an effect on things.
You with your fun police things.
Overgrown Tomb is the top card here for Tyler, so that can come into play, and that's going to gain 4 life. 1 from the Courser, 3 from the Bounty, and now the top card is a Banishing Light. That's something to work towards.
Just a refresher on all the modes here. A land gains 3 life. A creature makes a 3/3.
Correct.
And a non-creature
Spell.
puts counter. A non-creature spell puts 3+1/+1 counters on a creature. Is
You
that
have
right?
done it.
Okay.
You know your primeval bounties.
What does a Farika do? Is that-
So Freaka's a 3-mana 5/5.
No. I don't mean like what. Literally, what does it do? I mean like when you cast it with Primeval Bounty in play, what happens?
Freaky.
Sorry. Yeah. I mean,
Why? There's like so few questions I don't know the answer to.
I believe it is always a creature when it's on the stack.
Okay.
I think. I'm not gonna swear to that, but you just started to tell me the rules text of Farika.
I was ready. I thought that's what you were asking me. I was ready.
All right, that's fair.
Yeah. I know what the God of Affliction does.
Good.
I know that its snakes are enchantments that have Death Touch.
Yeah, those Death Touch snakes are actually going to do a lot of work here. 1/1 Death Touch snakes do not care about pack red in the slightest.
The only bad thing is that they're green and black.
Sure.
So can't block Blood Baron with Scope.
Yeah, so we do still have Blood Baron to worry about, although we also have a, well, okay.
Well, that's gone, but the Beast is a 3/3.
I should stop saying things.
The Beast is a 6/6, so he's still okay.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, this is what we thought was going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, Bounty just starts taking over the game by itself. Assuming that you have things to like cast and put into play, it just starts to dominate the game. And now you have like this cool interaction with Mana Bloom, putting basically 3+1/+1 counters on something every single turn.
Right.
Preferably a green creature. I mean, we could see Sylvan Caryatid, for example, really turn into just a 3/6 wall in a few turns, and Blood Baron becomes obsolete.
I wonder if there was an argument for putting counters on that Sylvan Caryatid.
Just on this turn?
Yeah, because it has hexproof. I mean, it doesn't hold off the like Blood Baron can attack into it and just gain 4.
Yeah.
But you can't kill it.
Yeah, you're not taking 4.
Yeah.
And I think that's all you really care about in this situation. Is the longer the game goes for Tyler, the better it is.
Yeah, for sure.
Straight up.
Yeah. Tyler achieved the kind of the sub game of untapping with Primeval Bounty. So the world is his oyster at this point, assuming Jesse doesn't sneak around back and kill him somehow.
Bounty is so underplayed. Jeez.
People just don't open it enough, you know? You got to first pick it. No one's going to pass you that
Yeah,
card.
that's true. That's true. It's unbeatable.
Yeah.
Here comes an attack. We think not. Slowing down may be appropriate.
Yeah. That would not have been a good attack,
Yeah.
so at least we saw it.
And for Jesse, he can't even cast his Obsidian yet either, so just has to pass the turn back. Freak is going to make a snake.
No, of course, he could have cast that Obsidian. Oh, wait, no, sorry. That is a Temple.
Yeah.
All right.
Just one away. Temple did come into play tap, so next turn it's definitely live. His Mana Bloom is going to go back to Gardner's hand. Now there's a Banished Light off the top of the deck, which we all knew about, including Jesse, due to Corsair last turn.
Show me your top card, Tyler.
No Corsair in play.
Oh, it's gone.
You see nothing. And you like it.
I do like it. That is one of the more frustrating things about Corsair Prefix. It brings too much information to a game, I always felt. If Corsairs stay in place, particularly in Corsair Prefix mirrors,
okay.
There's like, if both players keep a Corsair Prefix for more than a couple turns, there's just no hidden information.
Yeah.
And what's the fun in that?
You know everything that's your opponent's hand.
It's just not Magic anymore at that point.
All right, Todd Anderson, going beast mode.
That is a big Todd Anderson.
In for 9. At least trying to attack for 9. What do we have here? Maybe a Pack Rat activation?
We have Pack Rat, yes.
I'm going to discard a copy of Sylvan Caryatid to make a rat. Might have maybe a removal spell here in just a moment, maybe just a normal spell. Looks like it was just going to be a chump block. So now there's Sylvan Caryatid. Looks like another beast token's coming into play, and this is what it's called going off.
Yeah, for sure. There may have been some like gang block opportunities there to deal with that 9/9, but that's kind of a lose-lose situation, I think. You can either get rid of the 9/9 and lose your board, or keep your board, but you're still going to lose in a couple turns.
Yeah,
anyway.
it's bad either way.
Yes. And this game is, I'm hesitant to say it, but I think we have.
You're about to.
Yeah, I think we're past the point where Jesse can pull out of this one.
This is the power of the bounty.
Oh, yeah.
Freak has got to be on, right? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 with Font of Fertility. And now, Sylvan Caryatid is going to add 8. Now, Mana was going to go back to the grip, but Freak will be on to attack as well. But there's a Blood Baron in the way, obviously, protection from black, so no good attack there for Freaka.
Yeah. This deck, once it gets going, it looks just fun. I mean, look at the Tyler over there just putting tokens into play and putting counters on things and recasting his spells and putting more tokens into play.
Now, the funny thing is that Obzad is essentially useless. Now, here comes Blood Baron. Is that it? Whoa, what? Oh!
What did we miss?
No!
What happened?
He went to 30, and
then...
Tyler was under 10.
Whoa.
So that makes Blood Baron. That's the second time he's done that.
Wait,
this weekend.
How did he go to 30?
He's been gaining life.
The whole, and wow.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. Like the whole time, he's just been gaining life.
Flavor text just mattering all of a sudden.
Jesse Harper, a second time. So the number of times that we've had Blood Baron of Vescopa go ultimate is like 3 or something.
Okay.
For the length of time I've been doing this job when Blood Baron has been legal, and it's happened twice today.
It happened earlier today. Now you
From him.
You were in the booth when that happened,
yes.
Right? All right, so you should have known better.
I was so focused on the bounty action that was going on. Who could blame me?
As was I, because it looks sweet.
We were about to call the game over.
Yeah. We're both sitting over here like, this guy, what can he even do? And then
I thought the tally was like 200 or something.
Like 15 seconds later, he's just like 30, kill you.
Yep.
So, all right,
what can I do? Kill my opponent next turn very easily? Oh, yeah, that. Okay, sure.
Okay.
Sure, that's cool.
That is something a pack rat cannot do. So, there we go. Little bit of props to the Blood Baron himself.
It is sideboard time. We're going to take a look at Tyler Gardner's deck list first. I've got Elspeth Sun's Champion, Erebus God of the Dead, an Underworld Connections, 2 Putrefy, 2 Thoughtseize, a Golgari Charm. I was trying to read what that card is. It's a Centaur Healer. It's been so long, I actually forgot that card was legal.
Yeah.
There's also Hero's Downfall, Scavenging Ooze, a Nyxfleece Ram, and 3 copies of Nylea's Disciple. So we're kind of in a mid-rangey mirror here. I like Elspeth a lot in those. I could see Erebos being okay to slow down Blood Baron and Obsidian, but not at its best in this matchup. Love Underworld Connections. I like Putrefy. I don't love Putrefy. Thoughtseize is fine. Not the best in a mid-range mirror. I like Scavenging Ooze quite a bit. And the Charm could be okay. There are probably some enchantments lying around Jesse Harper's deck.
Yeah, just a few.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this sideboard is... There are a lot of very broad answers in the sideboard. Again, cards like Thoughtseize and like Hero's Downfall. These are cards that are basically known and kind of renowned in this standard for being universal answers, which makes it a little weird that they are sitting in sideboards. But it's kind of telling that like those are the cards that we're kind of expecting Tyler to lean on here. Basically, he's just going to bring in his broad answers. Jesse, on the other hand, has a lot of cards that don't really fit. He has 3 Underworld Connections, 3 Mistcutter Hydra, 2 Drown in Sorrow, 2 Bile Blight, 2 Lifebane Zombie, 1 Scavenging Ooze, and 2 Sin Collector. Of those, I'm not really sure that I like any of them. The Bile Blights could come in, the Lifebane Zombies, the Lifebane Zombies, those are cards that I'm actually pretty happy about. So, maybe just bring in 2 cards from Jesse?
I mean, 2 or 3, there's not a ton to bring in here.
No.
This isn't going to come as much of a surprise, but neither player doesn't really have a lot of hate for the opponent's deck.
Sure.
Because they're both kind of playing some off-the-wall decks here. We've seen Junk Constellations before, but not really like this. We've seen Brian Brondewin's version a couple weeks back when we were in Indy. It had Doomwake Giants, and, it was a little bit more streamlined. And, just had like one overall game plan, which was like Eidolon and Doomwake and Mana Bloom. Doom and Bloom, basically. For the Junk mid-range deck that Harper's playing, it's Junk mid-range. Its goal is not really to be streamlined.
Sure.
It's just to play powerful things and overwhelm you with the power level and the card advantage. So I don't expect either player to really sideboard a lot. They have options, but there's nothing too crazy going on here.
Yeah. Really, the questions in my mind are some of these kind of unconventional sideboard cards, or rather, conventional sideboard cards for other matchups, but do they fit here? There are cards like Underworld Connections. Is this matchup where Jesse wants to be drawing some extras for life? There are cards like Drown in Sorrow. There are a lot of snake tokens, potentially. And the weird thing is, like, you see Farika, you see... what's not Courser Krufix? Krufix's Insight.
Yep.
You see Krufix's Insight? Like,
the engine.
Yeah, I think you have to assume that Eidolon of Blossoms is there, but it could be anything else. Like, you have no idea what's going on over there, really. So the big question for me is Jesse actually going to reach for some of his kind of weirder options? Something like Sin Collector, even, maybe.
Maybe. Again, I don't think there's a real great guess to how the players are going to sideboard.
No.
I think it's really, really hard to say. And I like any card that really gets sideboarded in here, I would not be surprised to see come in. Like, I feel like, I think we can make our best guesses on what's going to happen, but,
sure.
You know, I don't think a lot's going to change, but there's not going to be a card here from the sideboard that's going to surprise me coming in from either player.
Jesse Harper will not board in Mistcutter Hydra. I will make that statement definitively.
I hope he cast it so bad.
I kind of do too. I'm not
You
gonna
have
lie.
no idea.
As soon as I said it, I was like, what have I done?
You kept that card in Green Mirrors, didn't you? When
I
you played Green White?
started it in Green Mirrors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if you come in.
That's different.
Oh, that's different now.
Yeah, it's
okay.
completely different.
Okay. Here's a Brain Maggot. Show me a Mistcutter Hydra. Lucky. An Abrupt Decay, a Blood Baron of Escopa, a couple copies of Temple Garden, 2 Voice of Resurgence, and a Lifebane Zombie.
That's a nice hand.
I mean, power level's there. I mean, this is junk. The power level of the hand is, of course, going to be through the roof. Can't cast a Lifebane Zombie just yet, since there's no second black, but has the mana to cast Abrupt Decay or copies of Voice of Resurgence. Blood Baron much further down the line.
Yep. Yeah, I think if you only see one voice there, like actually just say Jesse takes a mulligan, there's literally just one fewer card, and the voice is gone. Then I think you happily take the voice there just to keep him off curve. But given that you can't actually stop him from having a 2-drop, I think Abrupt Decay is the sensible choice. Lifebane and Blood Baron, of course, both pretty reasonable threats as the game progresses. But from what you can see now, Jesse's a little bit away from casting either of them.
Over on 2, I'm going to come in here. That is a Courser. We've seen this song and dance before. Hope you guys are used to this because this is going to be the next, year and a half of Magic. Coursering all year long. Take a look here at Voice of Resurgence. Make sure we know what that does. Of course, makes an elemental token equal to the number of creatures that Jesse does have. And don't cast a spell on your opponent's turn.
That will not end well for you.
Yeah, that's about it. How many Voice of Resurgence triggers have you missed? Come on, tell the truth.
I mean, I wouldn't know because if I missed them, I missed them.
Sometimes you notice when you forget. Bit of a hiccup.
I do not recall ever noticing later that I missed a voice.
He's perfect. Never missed one.
Well, okay, no, that's not true. There have been times where I was going to untap and win the game next turn, where I just check out.
Okay. I don't need an elemental to kill
exactly.
you. Thank you very much.
Exactly. Focus on what matters.
Here it's a Pack Rat. Forest going to go to Gardner's Grip. Top card is a Swamp. So let's see if he wants to play that. Does have the Bounty in his hand again. So we've got something to work towards.
+1 card.
And a life.
Sure, and a life.
Which is like a card. Overgrown Tomb. Let's see what this is going to be. Maybe a Caryatid? Maybe a discard spell?
After board, does Tyler have more Primeval Bounties? Or are we still just working with that
There's just the one.
All right.
And the one is so good.
It is.
Scavenging Ooze. Thought sees you. Maybe take a creature and then eat it. Cards are the same. The only new card was a Pack Rat, so there goes Blood Baron. That'll be fuel for the Ooze.
Yeah. Tyler would have loved to have gotten that Pack Rat out of the way, I think.
Yeah, but I mean, this will be a situation, even though, I'm kind of repeating myself from last game, that Primeval Bounty will be able to take things over, assuming we get there. His life total is much higher this time.
Yeah, and we got rid of that Blood Baron, so that won't be a problem.
Harper will take a draw. It's a Swamp.
And choice between make rats or make other plays. And traditionally, that favors the rat.
Yes. Should I make another Voice of Resurgence or should I make another rat? I would want to make another rat if I was just in this situation.
And that is a second black source. So among your other options are a Lifebane Zombie.
Yeah.
Now, again, Jesse doesn't really know what's going on there on the other side of the board. He can make some pretty safe assumptions. I think he can say with almost 100% certainty there are Eidolons of Blossoms lurking. So there is some appeal to taking a peek and seeing what's coming for him. Although, to be fair,
Putrefy for Gardner.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
To be fair, what is coming for him is not a card that he can take with Lifebane Zombie.
Yeah,
that Primeval Bounty does not care in the slightest about what Lifebanes you have.
We're discarding a Temple Garden. It's time to make a rat. Tyler playing conservative at this point. I mean, no great attacks, obviously, but no real incentive to attack either because he just wants to get Primeval Bounty online, play defense with it, and then let it generate an advantage as you see Harper draws a copy of Ultimate Price for the turn.
Which does have some pretty juicy targets here. So we are kind of in the exact same spot.
Maybe you just price the Maggot, get Abrupt Decay back, kill one of those creatures. Maybe you can start attacking. He does have the Swamp in his hand to actually facilitate that play.
Sure, yeah, he can, again, can make a rat, can play a Lifebane. or as you said, can kill Mag and then kill something else. That's a play that is still there, tomorrow.
Yep.
So there's an argument for just building up your rat army. Once we see that Primeval Bounty in play, I think he is going to feel a little more pressure to act.
I don't think Gardner has much of a choice but to cast it.
No.
His hand right now is a Forest, a Putrefy, Primeval Bounty. Wow, he's actually just going to play the Temple instead. I'm a little bit surprised by that.
Yeah.
Thoughtseize is the top card.
Huh. That is odd. I mean, does your deck have better plays than Primeval Bounty? That's like literally the best thing your deck can do, right?
I think that's the best thing that can be happening here. And also, it's not like you have, in unlimited amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, slowly but surely, this rat army is going to take over and kill you because you know the contents of your deck, so you know that a card like Detention Sphere isn't floating around or Bioblight.
Sure. And more than that, because of this Voice of Resurgence, the one other spell you can cast this turn, the Putrefy, like if you're going to do it, you need to do it. And it looks like Jesse is going to take the opportunity to kill some things.
So there goes the Courser.
Interesting. Okay, so not going to kill the Brain Maggot. The thinking there may be that if he applies enough pressure, Tyler will eventually have to chump block with the Maggot anyway.
Yeah, and here comes the pressure. And that'll leave an Abrupt Decay at the end of all of it.
Right.
Is it just me? Like, I'm not a big Brain Maggot fan.
Yeah, I'm not either. I was never a Mesmeric Fiend fan.
I was a Mesmeric Fiend fan, but that's when creatures were smaller. And, like, Magic was a different game. Now it's just like Brain Maggot is just like a 1/1 that's not going to trade with anything. It doesn't beat anything in combat. A lot of the time I just look at it as like this creature that people play on turn 2, which is fine. And then, like, it just sits there the entire game.
Sure. I mean, yeah, it's not a brawler, and it is not reliable as disruption in the same way that Thoughtseize is, of course. You kind of have to look at it as a transition play. It gives you the information that you need to sculpt your next couple turns. It does disrupt in a way. Well, I mean, not in a way. It clearly disrupts. So it's a 2-drop. It's not going to be just a complete barn burner.
Top card here is a Farika. Gardner's at 19. And now we're going to drop down, I believe, the Primeval Bounty, but I would have liked to see this last turn still.
We are going to get to play Primeval Bounty and then play a land to trigger it. So a little bit of extra value there.
There's the Temple. So top card is a Farika, God of Affliction. And that's going to stay on top pretty quickly.
Oh, yeah. We don't want to get rid of that one. Primeval Bounty, probably Tyler's best play. Farika, probably his second best play.
Okay.
And certainly the two work very well together.
Voice of Resurgence still over there in Harper's hand. Looks like a Hero's Downfall as well. For Harper, he's just got to plow through this bounty just like he did last game. Last game he was able to get creative. This one's, I feel, a little bit more straightforward, which is just rats, rats, rats.
Yeah.
All day long.
Yeah, last game I wouldn't say that Jesse plowed through the Primeval Bounty so much as he just sort of distracted Tyler and then jumped over it.
Yeah. There's your Hero's Downfall, take care of the ooze. Now we're coming in with some 2/2s. Those rats are 2/2s, and Voice of Resurgence also is a 2/2, so an attack here for 6.
Okay. So clear the lanes for this turn. Is likely going to have to do it again and again. So we know Tyler has a Farika on top. That is going to give him 2 blockers? Or no, just the 1, because Farika will not be actually a creature. Gonna gain some life off of that Primeval Bounty from the Forest. And then has some options about what to kill. Because he could, yeah, he's definitely going to cast the Farika, but then at that point he can either use his mana to cast the Putrefy or to eat some things and make some snakes. And on this board, I think I'm leaning on the snakes.
I'm leaning on the snakes just because of Death Touch.
Sure.
That's really it.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, Jesse's only real hope here is to just plow through.
Yeah.
And Farika makes it very difficult to plow through, assuming you actually get to activate it.
Now, we're a little ways away from Devotion, but Devotion just doesn't matter at this point if you're Tyler. I think it's just all about, if you're Jesse, you're trying to plow through this, which is going to be difficult to do, unless you find something like a Blood Baron or Ozdat blinking in and out. So I guess, again, I think this is going well for Tyler because his life is so high.
Right.
Where it wasn't last game.
Yeah, he could take 2 hits from Blood Baron now if it got to, if it hit its ultimate.
I guess that's true. I hadn't considered that.
Yeah. And I mean, if the Blood Baron goes ultimate, it still has lifelink. So if you get 1 hit in, you probably get a second one.
No, this is true.
But having said that, yeah, Jesse is very, very far away from that. Obviously, of course, he needs to find a Blood Baron. But even in addition to that, there is no way on board or in his hand currently to gain any life and get ahead.
There goes the voice. This is just simply an attack to turn this into a bigger creature.
Just an upgrade.
Yeah, just like we saw last game.
This is maybe the first time I've ever seen elemental tokens and rats on the same board.
They're a team.
Yeah, they interact in an interesting way.
They're just a very natural team. Here's a snake token with Death Touch for Tyler Gardner. Gardner's going to take a draw here. And that is just, I think, another land. It's a Temple Garden.
Yep.
So Temple Garden along putrefies the grip. But Bounty is happy to see any and all of those cards.
Yeah, Bounty will reward you for drawing cards.
Doesn't
care what
I
card
hope it's an M15. I
do. Maybe? I don't know. The card was a real buzzkill in a lot of my drafts, I'll tell you that much.
Well, it doesn't have to be. Like, no one said it was beatable and limited, okay?
Right, well.
I don't care about that.
I don't know.
I want it for constructed play.
Sure. Yeah,
I bet this card's no fun to play against the limited.
Oh, it is.
I didn't play a lot of the limited format that it was in.
It is not. It is, yeah. This is the first time I've ever thought anything about someone having a Primeval Bounty in play other than, must just be. And actually, I'm thinking that right now, too.
Yeah.
Like I said, Tyler Gardner looks like he's having all kinds of fun.
He's going to pass the turn back. Over to Gardner. Gardner, I don't think there's one specific thing he's looking for. It's just like, let's just keep playing. Okay, this works, actually. I take it back. Eidolon gets things going. Yeah. So, yeah, this is fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's no specific thing, but the bounty is going to reward him for literally anything.
Yep.
So he just has to not accidentally die like he did in game 1.
And he's a 22, so make it 25. So you have to imagine that he's not going to accidentally die, and eventually here, he'll be able to attack a Farika.
Yeah. Now, the real question is, at what point does Tyler start getting aggressive here? Because, yeah, as we've said, this board looks rock solid for Tyler. Now, granted, we said that last game.
Yes.
But it looks rock solider this time.
Yes.
But having said all that, the clock is a real thing. It's a real issue. You have 17 minutes to win 2 games. And there is a growing rat army. You do have to actually start turning your animal sideways at some point.
He's got to turn the corner eventually. He can't just sit here all day and do nothing. See Farika's Devotion right now. There's 2 for Farika itself, 2 for Eidolon Blossoms is 4, 5 for Brain Maggot, 6 for Primeval Bounty. So we're just a little ways away. This, I believe, is going to be a Putrefy on the other rat token. That's going to make the beast grow to a 6/6. Lifebane Zombie is going to be discarded to Pack Rat.
So replacement rat, but still a pretty big play for Tyler.
I mean, Tyler's just going to be able to continuously start pushing through damage here. Those rats aren't going to be able to keep up, I think.
No. And that is a Johnny Mentor of Heroes.
And that's a good Magic card.
It is.
It's a good card.
It has a lot of powerful text. It is a reliable way to turn Blood Baron Viscopa into a 10/10.
Should you gain 100?
Yeah. Is that reliable? Does
Actually,
that count?
you know, that happened, so yes.
Oh, wait, is that how he did it?
Yeah.
What? And no one told me?
I'm sorry.
You and Chapin should have been like, Shroud, come look at this. Seriously,
Sorry. This is me apologizing on air. What more do you want from me?
All right, fair enough.
It's not going to get better than this.
All right, I agree. That sounds insane.
Okay.
Wow. I am going to watch that replay.
Johnny takes up to 5, and Obzad is added to the grip. I want a Johnny to be really good for, like, some stretch of time.
Sure. Yeah, the really awkward thing, of course, with the new Johnny, whose name is escaping me, that has just been spoiled.
The Steadfast.
Johnny the Steadfast. The awkward thing is that Johnny the Steadfast wants you to have a bunch of Planeswalkers, and if you're going to jam a bunch of Planeswalkers, actually, you might also want the Planeswalker that goes digging and finds other Planeswalkers.
Yeah.
Except they're both a Johnny, and
it's
you can't
almost like
do
they
that.
designed it that way.
I know. Eric Lauer with his puppet strings.
Do you think they know what they're doing up there?
They might.
Maybe.
They might. Torturing me is what
if
they're doing.
it was Gideon the Steadfast? Then that deck would probably be too good.
Yeah, it actually would. It would be the exact same thing, except like, oh, you can't play Gideon, Champion of Justice.
Yeah.
Boo-hoo.
That sucks.
Yeah.
That thing's really been warping the format. We got some attacks here from a 6/6 Beast, a 3/3 Beast, and a Death Touch Snake token. Looks like there is some time for blocking here in just a moment.
Mm-hmm. And Jesse doing his best thinker impression. And that is the look of a man who is feeling the strain.
Yeah, he's slowly getting whittled away here.
Yeah.
This rat token bites the dust. There goes a Johnny as well. Now there's no that Tyler Gardner does need to work through, but his life total is high enough unless it gets enough resources to do so.
Now that replacement of Johnny, I'm not sure he has time to be messing around with replacement of Johnny's.
Yeah, there's hopes of that.
And he agrees.
The mana is, of course, there. Double black, double white. That's going to come in. Harper's going to gain 2. Gardner's going to lose 2. So 20 to 23 are the life totals. And that's going to go a hiding.
Okay. He's going to blink it out. I was actually just kind of sitting there wondering, like, can he even afford to do that?
Yeah, I was thinking the exact same thing. It does seem like it's a bit of a risk, but Gardner doesn't have a great way to capitalize right now.
Right.
Somehow that Eidolon's still not on, or excuse me, that Farika's still not on. 2, 3, 4, 5. Just needs one more permanent. My goodness. Looks like we're getting an attack here.
Yeah, I mean, even though Farika is not a creature, it's still doing some pretty good work here.
I'm a little bit surprised not to see the 6/6 battle. I understand why it's hanging back because it blocks the 5/5 of that.
Yeah.
But I'm a touch surprised not to see that get into the red zone.
Well, after that Blood Baron action in game 1,
yeah.
Tyler is probably thinking of his life total in 10-point chunks. He's just saying, what can I do to make sure I do not fall below 20?
Obsidat stayed hiding, so we will get a judge's ruling here on exactly how that will work.
Okay.
And when it's supposed to come back.
And the traditional ruling there is that it's gone for the turn, but it gets another chance next turn.
Pack Rat is the card that Johnny has found.
And it looks like Jesse does get a chance to stick that Johnny in play, and he is, I believe, actually hearing the ruling now on Obsidat. So, yeah. I said, okay, I said that he would get a chance, on his next upkeep it would trigger again. That is apparently false. When Obsidat is exiled, it says there's a delayed trigger where on your next upkeep it can return.
Yep.
And when you miss that one, it's gone for good. It's kind of like a suspended card that you stifle the trigger when it loses its last counter. It can't lose its last counter again, so it just stays gone. So a little bit of a boon there for Tyler Gardner. Not that he needed one, frankly.
Yeah, I mean, he's pretty far ahead. This is an abrupt decay. Gonna take care of that. Brain Maggot gonna get a little bit bigger. We're coming into the red zone here with a bunch of creatures. Looks like we're going towards Johnny.
Are you still unimpressed with that Brain Maggot, Cedric?
Yeah, it only needed help from a 6-mana enchantment and an additional spell.
Sure.
But besides that, that card is unbeatable.
Yeah. Well, it bridged the gap,
Look, there was once upon a time when Mesmeric Fiend was not only awesome at taking cards, but wasn't afraid to get in the red zone. Those days have changed.
Is that even true? It's shared standard with, like, Aquamoeba. It doesn't match up well with Aquamoeba.
Well, you're right, but look, there was a time where I was attacking this mirror
Okay.
fiend. I remember it well, and I was proud of it.
Okay.
And you can't take it away from me. Maybe
right.
my memories are wrong,
I
but
think
you can't take it away
I'm
from
pretty
me.
sure no one in the history of time has ever attacked with a Mesmeric Fiend.
Oh, I've attacked with it. I know that I have.
It's always like Mesmeric Fiend, and then your opponent plays a Battle Screech.
That was hard to beat.
Yeah.
They took their battle screech. They didn't top that.
Yeah, they drew another one.
No, you took it.
That's how this works.
No way.
That's how I remember it anyway.
Looks like we're going to have a Banishing Light take care of something now, too. Primeval Bunny is a good choice.
Yep, that one's the problem card.
It might be a little too late now, but that's a good choice. The creatures are probably just too big.
Now that Farika is even further from. Oh, never mind.
Finally.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's taking them forever.
Is it? I gotta double check.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we're there. We did it.
And now we get to actually go from 0 to 100. Now there's a Mana Bloom. Like this was he couldn't miss forever.
And we drawing gas off of our gas. Double Eidolon. Those are two cards that you are not allowed to keep in play for very long.
Come on, Farika, you know you want in there. Who are we kidding? Farika, there we go.
And the Eidolon,
yeah,
sure.
Everybody get in there. I think this has got to be lethal attack, right? We block the two biggest creatures, a 6/6 and a 5/5. We take 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9. Okay, it's close to lethal.
No,
If
not
we remove
lethal,
a
but
blocker
closing the door.
I think we can remove a block with Hero's Downfall that's in our hand, I think, this turn.
Yeah, we could do that. That does close it out, actually. Yeah. Yeah, we can block the 6/6, but he's still going to take 4 + 5 + 3 + 2. So that's, yeah. But it looks like there's some discussion.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine this has to do with the Obes and that. I don't confess to be a judge.
No.
But the ruling that once the trigger is missing, it goes away forever, I'm fairly sure is incorrect. And obviously, it's not our job to, stop the game and make rulings and say, hey, that is incorrect. Because,
sure.
I equate that to sports, which is, something happens wrong on the football field. And, there'd be like commentators saying, hey, stop the game.
Right.
That guy pushed that guy in the back. Like, that's,
There's just one giant flag that you can throw from the actual
Yeah,
booth.
that's not going to happen. So,
Right.
It's not our job to keep the game state appropriate.
No.
If there's an egregious error and we can catch it, we certainly try to.
Sure.
But, it's much like I relate it to commentators in sports. Like, it's not their job to say, hey, that guy tripped that guy on the 30-yard line. Like,
Right.
That's not what happens.
Sure. Well, it's our job to say that if the ref on the field says that,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we're going to bring it back to the booth because I imagine there's going to be a lengthy judge ruling right now.
Yeah, that
about
got
an
hairy.
that was supposed to come back into play like 6 turns ago. So when we have an update on that for you guys, we will certainly let you know. But for right now, Cedric Phillips and Drew Shroud starts the Games Open Series here in Portland. It is round number 7. Mr. Chafin and I have talked at length about M15. What is your favorite card in the set? You get one. You get one.
What? I get one.
All right.
Kind of like 5 or something?
You get 2.
All right. I don't
You get 2.
Honestly, I can only think of one right off the bat. But
Okay.
I feel like I will think of another one shortly.
This
but,
happens.
And I can't remember the name of the card. This is the most frustrating part.
Useful.
Life's something, Life's Bounty, Life's Journey, Life's... The 2-drops, or the 2-mana sorcery that lets you sacrifice a creature and draw cards equal to its power.
I believe it's Life's Journey.
Life's Journey, yeah.
Okay.
That card, I'm pretty sure, is secretly ridiculous.
2 mana, sacrifice a creature, draw life equal to its power.
Yes.
Instant? Gotta be an instant.
Sorcery.
Sorcery?
Sorcery, yeah.
Well, I assumed instant. Okay.
I mean, it'd be insane if it was instant.
I guess that's true. It
Yeah.
should be a sorcery.
But, yeah, I feel like in this standard, there are a lot of opportunities to just, sack an 8/8.
Okay.
You've got Pelucranos that you have monstrous, and then you would like to draw 7 and go find another Pelucranos.
Okay.
You get in situations where, say you attack with a Xenaghost token, and then they block with Courser, and then you
Rampager.
you Rampager, and then you draw 6.
Okay.
I don't know how many times you've drawn 7 or drawn 6.
I typically stick to fair decks.
Just in the middle of a game, it's like, hey, we're playing Magic here, but draw 7.
Yeah. No, I don't really often do that. I rely on my 1 card a turn to be perfect. That's how I play.
Well, that works sometimes.
Yeah.
But alternately, you could have your 1 card for a turn, draw you 7.
That's
I don't know.
probably a better way to win.
Sure.
You probably win more consistently if you do that.
Yeah, I have. I'm a big fan of Prime Speaker Zagana. That's a card.
I do know that. You played a lot of
yes,
that deck.
the Prime Speaker and I go way back. Garrick Primal Hunter, likewise.
Okay.
Me and Garrick were tight.
Okay.
So, I've drawn 5, drawn sometimes maybe just 4. You know what? I'll play fair. I'll just draw 4.
Okay.
Situations like that, you don't lose much when you just.
I would hope
when your green mid-range deck that's full of monsters just draws half a new hand.
Sure.
In the middle of a game, and this card costs 2.
It's like surprisingly cheap. There have been cards that have been like related to that, like Momentous Fall.
Mm-hmm.
There's also like a bigger effect that I'm not thinking of right now. But oftentimes this card costs oftentimes this card costs 4 mana or more.
Right.
In green. This one is aggressively costed at 2 mana.
Yeah.
So I don't really know. I mean, I don't really know what to expect of it because like it's a card that in theory doesn't do anything.
Right. It needs other cards to be good.
Yes.
Sure.
But I assume that when you have the other cards to make it good, it is rather good.
I would think so, and and that's a card that definitely time will tell. There's not a lot of precedent.
It is Life's Legacy.
Life's Legacy. There we go. Okay. Okay. So doing the Hero's Downfall dance here.
This is a dance.
And it looks like we are back in action. So the Obstinate did return, but it did not last long.
It's going to die now, it looks like.
Okay.
That is that I believe. What do you think that Hero's Downfall is targeting?
Well, it could be the Obstinate.
Yeah, I think we could actually have it just be anything right now.
Yeah. Jesse gained a blocker that he didn't have before. Interestingly, Tyler attacked when the board was one way, and then there was a judge ruling, and now the board's a different way. So that puts Tyler in a little bit of a weird spot, but frankly, Tyler's board is so overwhelming at this point that I'm not sure it matters that much.
So that just kind of, came back, and then it died. So, I'm glad that judge ruling was taken care of, and now back to action.
Sure. And Obstinate or not, like I've said, I feel pretty good about Tyler's chances here. The real question is, we have to assume that because of that judge ruling, there is going to be an extension on this match.
Some length of time, I imagine, will be added.
We'll need to figure out what length that is because, as I was saying earlier, someone's got to win a game 3 if there is one. And these decks kind of butt heads and build up boards.
In theory, they don't have to. Right.
What?
In theory, that could be a draw.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. You're right. But
say that again.
No. No, you only get it once per instance. All right. You want me to say it again? Be right again.
All right. I'll work on that.
All right. You're right.
Wow, you are really nice. I should bring you in here more often.
You really should.
Jesse, down to 6, does the play of Blood Baron for the turn. Tyler Gardner is going to untap all these lands. Mana Bloom is going to trigger here, so that's going to go back to the grip here in just a moment.
Yeah, and we're going to draw 2 more cards when that happens.
Yeah, you better believe it.
And we're figuring something else out.
We're having a grand old time. And now Mana Bloom is going to come back. There it is.
Into the hand where it belongs.
And now we draw a card.
Replacement Farika, which is pretty much useless. Although, well, that's not true. It's actually just divination in this board, right?
Yeah, basically. Courser of Crucifix and I think it was a land added to the hand. Now we're probably going to deploy Courser. So now 2 more cards are coming. So hit 1.
Yep, must reveal them all.
2. Top card's a Temple Guard. We can just put that directly into play.
Have we played a land? I think that, no, the forest up there was, okay, yeah.
So, this is what I want to be doing.
Yeah, I mean.
I want to be playing Eidolon of Blossoms like real bad. I'm a big fan of this card. Bunch of mana's being tapped. This might be Elspeth time? Tyler's had that in his hand for some time.
So yeah, green mid-range decks that just draw extra buckets of cards. Those are some of my favorite decks. Those feel right when you play them.
Some large creatures are going to die. An Abrupt Decay is going to be handed back. And some creatures are going to come into the red zone here in just a moment, it looks like. Freaka has 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, okay, Freaka's good.
So
if we attack with everybody, Freaka gets blocked. Biggest creature gets blocked, which is the beast token. And it looks like there's a lethal attack here.
Yep.
If we make it. Actually, of course, we can't attack.
Yeah.
I take it all back. It's not lethal. It's merely very good.
We need to keep our snark in check up here.
I'm sorry. It's not a lethal attack.
You're wrong, Cedric. That felt good. Can I say that one again?
Only when I'm wrong again.
Oh, sweet.
I'm not bringing you back in here ever again.
What? You're wrong.
God.
See you tomorrow, Cedric.
Freak is going to be blocked by a Voice of Resurgence. Now 3, 4, yep, gonna have to block there. So Pack Rat's gonna block Todd Anderson. 4 damage is gonna come across. Harper's gonna go down to 2. Voice of Resurgence trigger here in just a moment, I assume. We'll give Harper an elemental token.
Yeah, and I think we've been past the point where Jesse could actually get back into this game
I agree.
For a while now.
I agree.
Odds of that or no, honestly. I don't think the odds of that even came close to turning this thing around. And Jesse's going to consider his options and come to the same conclusion, it looks like.
So, Tyler Gardner's going to win game number 2 over Jesse Harper. But I don't think we're going to have much time for a third one here.
No. We heard back that the round clock, as we're seeing it on the screen now, is actually correct.
I believe that's the case.
Yes, because the actual round clock, we can see it over there, is 7 minutes overtime. Yeah. So this is taking their extension into account. So actual 2 minutes to sideboard, shuffle up, present, draw, mulligan, and play a third game, which isn't going to happen.
No.
No.
So we will let these players shuffle and all that stuff, and if the game does take place, we will certainly turn our attention towards that. But nothing else from M15 for you, really?
No, I didn't say that. I said I had others.
Okay.
All right. The other big one. This is the one that I'm pretty excited about as a green-white player.
All right, hit me.
And again, I don't remember the name of it. I struggle. Return to the ranks. Return to the ranks. Convoke. Return X target creatures with converted mana cost 2 or less from your graveyard.
I am so happy Convoke is back.
Yes. Convoke's, well, honestly, the Convoke is flavor text on this card. That's not the part that I'm excited about.
But I just like Convoke as a mechanic a lot. I think it opens up like some really unique design space on what you can do. Like Magic is about creatures now anyway, not so much about spells.
Sure.
So I think that Convoke is actually just like a really cool ability to have out there. And, you know, there is the Obelisk of Erd, which is kind of sweet. And then this card that you're talking about, Return to the Ranks?
Return to the Ranks, I believe.
I also like as well. I'm a fan of just Convoke in general.
Yeah.
I want to see if they do anything sweet with Convoke. Convoke the first time around was fine. It was fine. There was the Hour of Reckoning, like the Wrath.
Right.
And then there were creatures.
Of course, there was Court of Calling.
Yeah, that card's sweet. Siege Worm.
I was a big fan of Scatter the Seeds. I love the idea that you could be tapped out and just have 5 creatures and then just make some counters.
I like that card. And the reason I like that card a lot, actually, is because at Pro Tour Charleston, the Team GP, the only team constructed Grand Prix ever, the Japanese had like a Scatter the Seeds, like green-white deck. Nice. That's just like really good.
Yeah, of course they did.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. And did I get annihilated by Scatter the Seeds in that tournament? Yeah, I did. Who would play around that? Yeah. Nobody. So, yeah, that was sweet.
Oh, man. You know what I just realized? If they're bringing back Convoke, maybe, just maybe, we'll get to cast Sprout Swarm again. Are you excited, Cedric?
See, no. Actually, I want that to stay away.
All right,
yeah,
fine.
And it'll be a draw here. So Jesse Harper and Tyler Gardner are going to move on to 6-1-1 in this tournament as we're going to bring it back to the booth.